right, and welcome to Week 7, day number 2 of the HCS Pro League fall season. Elamite and T2 joining you from the Xfinity desk. And if you were watching yesterday, clearly it was absolute mayhem between these teams, and now everything is going to be decided here today.
Yeah, mayhem. I need to add that word to my vocabulary because I watched the rebroadcasts and I said the word insane about 5,000 times. So I'm going to try to cut back on that. Maybe it's going to be 500 mayhems.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there with essentially. I just can't stop saying it no matter what I do. But
Let me help you out here. There you go.
Thank you, sir. But either way, we've got a lot of action in store here today, so let's not waste any time. First thing, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings here at the end of Week 7, day number 1. So going into the final day of Pro League, these are the teams that we're looking at.
It's all about that battle for top 4. It's all about who's going to be in relegations. A handful of different possibilities here. Very similar to, even more intense, not very similar, it's more intense than it was in the summer season. We have Straight Rippin' trying to move up into that 4th spot. Who's going to be in relegations? Is it going to be Evil Geniuses? Is it going to be E6? Can Allegiance crawl out from underneath that rock, which is 8th place?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're going to be focusing on here now. Is everything comes down to the wire here. We have Straight Rippin' trying to battle and get into that spot. But first, let's take a look here at these relegation teams. So Evil Geniuses, Enigma 6, and Team Allegiance all battling and all have a chance of making it out of relegation, and it comes down here to today.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It's mayhem, as Kyle would say. And I believe it was Chad who we did the interview with yesterday who posted all of the different types of scenarios that could happen for Allegiance, and it was zounds of different possibilities. So we'll find out what's going to happen, and we'll find out once the games get played. And yesterday was so unpredictable, especially with that 3-0 for Optic versus Envy. Yeah, there is a lot of talk on what's going on with the relegations and stuff like that, but I know Optic's going to be really upset after that loss, even though it was, online, and they're looking to come back strong too.
Yeah, speaking of Optic, they are the top contenders standing in the way of Luminosity making it to finals. Now, flashback to summer season, Week 7, day number 2. It was Evil Geniuses needing to defeat Optic Gaming to qualify for the playoffs, and they were unable to do so. Now, Luminosity finds themselves in the exact same position, trying to defeat this God Squad here to get their trip to finals. On the other hand, Straight Rippin', they need to defeat E6 to take this spot away from Luminosity. So just to recap there, Luminosity has to win today to qualify. They do hold their fate in their own hands. On the opposite end, Straight Rippin' needs Luminosity to lose and also pick up a W if they're going to qualify.
It's all about who's going to play their best towards the end, and then who can get into the playoffs and then try to make their run and possibly break into that top 3. That's the big question here.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's matches and see. We already talked about some of them here, but we are looking at Allegiance versus Team Envyus, Enigma 6 and Straight Rippin', like we said there. Optic Gaming versus Luminosity, followed up by the final match of the night. You got Team Liquid going against EG.
Yeah, all the matches should be pretty intense, especially those middle 2 there. And Evil Geniuses played fantastic yesterday. And Team Liquid, they're looking to bounce back from a loss. So we'll find out. The last match, too, should be pretty crazy. I'm looking forward to getting these started, Kyle.
Yeah, I cannot wait here. And, of course, we've been talking about finals. We've been talking about relegation. And that's because these top 4 teams and the 7th and 8th seeded teams will be coming out here to the ESL studios in Burbank to compete at the finals. 2 little separate mini tournaments essentially set up, plus that free-for-all. You will be looking at the top 4 teams battling to find out who is the winner, and then the top 2 teams from the open circuit that will be determined next weekend in Vegas, coming out as well to battle the 7th and 8th seeded teams.
A lot of Halo to be played. It's going to be a very good time. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in person. We've been doing this online thing for quite some time. It all comes down to making it to that final event, and it should be an absolute blast.
Yeah, and of course, the ticket link was there up on the bottom of your screen. So if you want to get tickets and attend that event, hang out with T2 and myself and all of those pros, make sure you buy them ahead of time. And of course, that is December 10th and 11th, like we discussed. Now, we do want to hear from you at home, as today is going to be insane. Been a lot of activity on social media and the forums. So, of course, tweet at us using the hashtag HCS, or tweet at ESL Halo or at HCS. And you might even see your tweets featured here on stream.
A lot of tweets been rolling in. It's been a pretty good time. And I just want to start the games.
All right, and talking about starting the games, our very first match of the night, like we said, Team Allegiance is going to be going up against Team Envyus. Now, we saw Envyus off of that 3-0 yesterday over Optic Gaming, which came as a surprise to a lot of people, and probably not so much that Envyus squad, as they are very confident in their abilities, only losing one series to Team Liquid in week 1 of the Pro League in a quick 3-0 fashion. Now, Allegiance also bounced back yesterday and took their win, which we haven't seen them do in a while in that game number 5. And in this lineup, Contra, Predevinator, Straight Sick, Falcade in.
Yeah, everybody played very well for this squad yesterday, and they have what it takes. Again, they've lost so many Game 5s. Allegiance and Evil Geniuses, they've had the most disappointing Game 5s out of all of the teams here, and it just comes down to closing games, closing series. They have their work cut out for them. Envy is playing at a very high level right now. We saw in our interview and heard with our interview from Ola, it got deep, man. He said that he's full, but he's still hungry. Just think about that, guys. Let that settle in for a second.
Yeah, that's hard to focus on, Tom. That just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But either way, this Envyus squad is a powerhouse lineup. I've said it before, made to defeat Optic Gaming. Every one of these players teamed up and approached each other, essentially saying, hey, I think you're one of the best players in the game. Let's go ahead and team together and take down Optic.
Yeah, and it wasn't all, holding hands and skipping down through the park to start this season for them. They came out and got 3-0'd by Liquid, and ever since then, they've been dominant.
Right, I couldn't agree more. And even Esports Arena, they had moments of struggling. They went down 0-2 in a series against Most Wanted. They also got swept in the finals against Team Envyus. Oh, excuse me, Gaming swept Team Envyus in the finals. So a lot on the line for these guys to bounce back. They need to be able to prove themselves here still. Of course, beating Optic in the online HCS Pro League does make a big statement, as that is not an easy feat to do, but they still need to come out and beat them at finals if they're going to steal that spot and be known as the champions.
Yeah, and Envy, their play style yesterday against Optic Gaming was phenomenal. They countered so many of the strategies that Optic Gaming was throwing at them, especially on the rig, where we pointed out the constant barrel push coming in from Optic Gaming, and everybody on the side of Envy ready for that. They brought their weapons into very powerful positions, and they held the weapons for a very long time. And more importantly, they clutched out the close games, which is what Optic Gaming was doing for a really long time, and something that Allegiance has failed to do. So you got to say that this is most likely an 80%, chance, maybe even more, for Envy to win this, but they already got, the number 1 seed locked up, I believe. So there's so much more on the line for Allegiance because they have their relegation lives up at stake.
Yeah, and sometimes teams just step up to the occasion. And a perfect example of that is Evil Geniuses coming out so strong last night and defeating Luminosity, their very first win. And they needed that to escape relegation.
Badly.
And yeah, so that's one of those teams that you can never count out the Twins, because they can come out and just pull out one of those upsets. Allegiance, they might be looking at being able to do the exact same thing. We've seen Falcade have amazing individual performances in several different game types, maps, and things like that. His shot is ridiculous, and he's a very improved player here as well. Got a really early start here playing Halo. Came up with the likes of Boo Boo Doo, and we all know how good he is individually. And of course, Stone has some of his settings there on screen as well. No Vibe, Bumper Jumper, 4 cents.
It's weird. I started playing No Vibration in Halo 5, and I tried it out, and all the other Halos just didn't work out as much as I thought it did in Halo 5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally a fan of No Vibration.
A lot more people are. They are.
Yeah, some of the older Halos, you can take like 1 vibration pack out of your controller and things like that.
That's true.
You have people jumping around trying to beat the system a little bit there.
Could have been illegal. At the time. I don't know.
I don't know either, actually. That's a good question, but there's lots of other...
Tampering.
Yeah, lots of other different controllers you can look at between the Elite Scuffs, things like that.
There is. Yeah, there's a lot of different opportunities out there. Also, yeah, I feel like it's a big discussion of, what controller do you use? And we even had the discussion of how short do you cut your nails in certain scenarios. Who was that you... Predevinator. So Devin on this Allegiance team has it all figured out. Maybe that's the key, is getting a hand massage, making sure that you're getting your nails clipped down to the right.
Well, it's funny, too, because Contra is the one that was the pressing start button to reset the cache in the game.
Okay.
That was so crazy about that. where he literally could not. It was one of those things he could not overcome almost until I think it was patched.
Oh, geez. All right. So that's when you get a little bit too crazy. And I don't know. To each his own. Everyone's got their own little things that make them play better. So we'll find out here. And a lot of it's at the comfort at your home, too. We had that conversation with Ninja where he was traveling, and it was very hard for him playing on a different monitor or just going around and not having the internet that he's used to having.
Mhm.
And maybe some outside noises and things like that, people distracting, or maybe just being taken out of your environment is one of the hardest things there. So that's why it's important to rack up as much points as you can so you can get these opportunities to perform in a live environment.
Right, and let's go ahead and take a look at the series layout here. We're going to see these two teams match up on 1, 2, 3. The Rig Strongholds, Plaza Slayer, and True CTF. Games 4 and 5, we'd be looking at an Eden Strongholds and a Coliseum Slayer.
All right, so pretty solid game types, I feel like, for Envy, but there is 2 Strongholds here, and Allegiance, remember that they started this season 5-0 in Strongholds, so they are no strangers to playing that game type well, and that's good for them that they don't have 2 CTFs, and also that they avoid CTF Coliseum. I feel like that's a very strong game type for Envy, so not the worst draft in the world for Allegiance. Give them a little bit of an opportunity, but they're going to have to come out of the gates swinging because Rig Strongholds, most likely, you're going to have Envy playing from red base. They're going to control the railgun. They're going to have camo. It's up to you to control that basement, control the nest, and try to get something going over there. Try to get some picks because that's the type of game type that can just get out of control extremely quickly. You don't want to see Hook, Snipe Down, any one of these main Slayers coming out for Envy getting weapons in their hands.
Right, and it's pretty easy to say that the benefit or the odds are going in Envyus' favor here to take the series. But I think the game number 1 is really important here. Allegiance needs to come out and win this game if they're going to be able to make this series interesting. Because I think if Envy wins game number 1, we're probably going to be looking at a 3-0 or a 3-1. But Allegiance, one of those teams, same with like Straight Rip and sometimes even Evil Geniuses. They can come out really strong out of the gates, get those leads, but then not always be able to close out series or letting those series go all the way to game 5.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the vetoes were because of the fact that we did see those game types up. And sometimes when you see a first veto come up and then that map come up later on, it could be a telling tale here. So here it is. Empire Strongholds was the first ban, and then it was Plaza Strongholds and then Eden. So that means that the Rig shows, and then Eden shows a little bit later. So that's good for, these guys on Allegiance that Empire doesn't show up eventually because that's no weapons, but you would think that Envy, they would not be that good at that game type. But the thing is they're really good at keeping control. And since there are no weapons and since you have the overshield and you're forced to go into the pit, that means that they can just set up and just prey on you as you have to go in towards that pit. And it's just free kills for these guys. So it's interesting to see that that's what Allegiance was trying to avoid Strongholds-wise.
Right, and if Allegiance can take this game number 1, we've talked to Envy before. They're pretty confident they are stronger at objective game types. Might put game number 2 as more of a toss-up here, where if Allegiance is able to steal that win, they could really send it into potentially game 3, 4, 5 and actually taking a series, as opposed to you losing this game 1 and then a toss-up. If they go down 2-0 in a series, you can pretty much count them out. They have not been a team to really come back from a deficit like that.
We'll see, like you said, a lot of it riding on the first couple of minutes here. Seems like Envy's playing from the blue side, so that's a good sign for Allegiance, and that means that they're going to be able to get the railgun to start this one and possibly try to get the camo. Now, the big player is going to be the shotgun player, which seems to be Snipe Down. No, it looks like Miklin's going to grab that because he had the better spawn. Now Snipe Down shoots that camo. It's going to be a double cap down towards basement, and going to be a couple grenades over towards the barrels to stop any type of railgun push. It looks like Devin and Contra picking up the first kills of the game.
Somebody's pooping railguns?
I guess
Is that what's happening?
I guess so, but gotta watch out for those poopy railguns because they'll, I don't want to continue.
Yeah, I don't even want to know what
fined.
that is, but either way, Snipe Down is pushing over, does get that kill with the Plasminate, but it's Contra here with that railgun that's starting to do some damage here on this Envy squad.
Yeah, and that's going to be Nest eventually going on over to Hook here if he can stay alive, but no, he dies. That's a priority kill coming out for the Allegiance squad. They're trying to hold this poor man set up VR and Nest, which means they have to control Overpass, control Whitehall, and try to stop players coming in from open field. And it looks like Snipe Down, realizing that, is going to go for the long flank around these players that are making their way over towards the nest bridge. So nice flank from Snipe Down. Makes it look pretty much easy. Getting a couple shots on players that aren't looking at him. This could be a big win for Straight Sick if he finds it, but no. That's what Snipe Down does so well. Coming in with the long flank, shooting players that are not aware that he's coming over there. And there's a guy, Contra, trying to get some shots, but Snipe Down just backing him off.
Yeah, that was pretty good shots by Snipedown. He just took out 3 players and essentially gave Envy map control and turned that into a triple cap. If Straight Sick was able to secure that kill there, Nest would still be in their favor. He'd be alive, be able to contest, and Snipedown 2 less kills.
Well, that was a very difficult kill for Straight Sick. It wasn't a kill that he necessarily, or a battle that he should have won. Snipedown had the advantage over there, even though Snipedown had to reload. I think that he shot maybe 7, 8 bullets in his pistol and missed 1 or 2. Snipedown has to fall out there and lose the shotgun, and that's going to be Straight Sick eventually dropping him. But it's looking pretty good for Allegiance. They were able to rack up 19 points over here, and they did get 2 slays. Snipedown on the respawn isn't going to spawn over towards Hook because there's too much pressure and spawn influence coming in from the Allegiance side, and that's going to be a basement capture. They have to be aware, though, because Snipedown is going to spawn out over towards that BR side. As you can see, Ola and Snipedown capturing BR base together. Falcated trying to work with one of his teammates over to the left. That's going to be Devin, but doesn't look like they're going to be able to stop the BR, but they do get the kills that they need to retake this. They need to be careful, though, because as they're over here, they should be going for basement on the side. And I thought that's what Hook was going to do, was capture that basement area, but it looks like he was a little too late on that, got a little bit too over-aggressive, and a little bit of a small misplay. But Ola gets the kills. Nice job shutting down that camo railgun player.
No, that was a really good job by Snipedown over in VR base. Actually secure a kill on the player in bunker. That was Contra coming off spawn, so he was able to take one player down with him, and that's really going to keep Envyus able to get right back into this game as they're already capturing Nest and back into basement. Straight Sick is he going to be able to pick up a kill here? He does grab a reset, which is nice, but you've already got control over back in favor of Envy.
Yeah, nice reset like you said, but it's not going to mean much over here. Like you said, they're going to be able to capture this basement pretty easily now. Falcated eventually gets that railgun back, sees a couple players coming around from that snipe side of the map, and another player from open field plays this perfectly behind the wall, looking for the triple kill. That player is weak. It's going to be Hook. Can he get the triple? It's a little bit delayed, so not going to give it to him. But either way, nice job by Falcated locking this one down. I gotta say, this is looking very strong for Allegiance. We were saying how the beginning of this game is very important, and that means that they're playing at a very high level right now to be able to compete with these guys from Envy that just 3-0'd Optic yesterday. So this is gonna bode well for them for the rest of the series.
Yeah, and you got Falcated doing a really good job of buying time over by Nest and actually gets away 2 separate occasions, no shields. Immediately over here towards BR base, knows that there's players contesting tower. You got that new railgun coming up, Van Camo in about 20 seconds or so. So you definitely want to make sure you're holding on here to BR base at this time with all of these weapons and power-ups spawning.
To me, what we're looking at is Envy coming out a little bit flat and Allegiance looking like the team, like we said, that has something to play for. They're fighting for the relegation lives. Envy has already secured their spot. Their big win yesterday was against Optic Gaming. So now you're going to start to see these guys from Allegiance really start to press their advantage over here as they pick up 3 kills, looking for another one. That's going to be a nice railgun onto Mikwin. Look at Falcated dropping 10 kills to start this one with 6 captures. So really nice game from him overall. Like you said, these guys have to step it up individually. That's going to be a triple cap, but not for long because eventually these guys from Envy are going to be able to get BR. But no, Straight Sick stops that, gets the reset. Falcated picks up a kill with the shotgun. And this is great power weapon control coming out from Allegiance.
Yeah, you still got railgun and shotgun. Pistola's not going to be able to capture this hill. Should be a reset coming in here, and sure enough, it does. Straight Sick trying to do what he can, put some damage down. Both these players from Envy are most likely going to be taken out. You do have Basement going over here in favor of Envy as Mikwin is capturing that. Hook leaves him, decides to go over to Nest. Looks like it works out in their favor as Mikwin does go ahead and finalize that capture here. Devenator trying to push over and help out as fast as possible, but Envy answers right back and stops that triple cap.
That is the first mistake that we've seen that's been kind of major for Allegiance, allowing Envy to kind of get back into this one and rack up probably about 10, 15, maybe 20 or more points here, because this is a very strong setup basement and Nest. However, good pressure coming in, and it also looks like they picked up the camo, which Falcated picks up a double with that camo too. So it's up to Mikwin with this shotgun. He's locking down this side of the map. Devin comes in, takes him down to no shields. Where's the cleanup coming in for Allegiance? Doesn't look like it is, but doesn't need it because Mikwin says, later guys, I'm just gonna fall off the map. And maybe we gotta stick on board with these Envy guys a little bit more and see if they're just kind of waking up here.
right, and 3 members. That basement's going to go over really quickly. Now, I do have the new shotgun that's going to spawn here, as that's only a 10-second respawn since Mikwin died with it when he fell off the map there. But Envy does get the R base back, so it is not a bad position to be in by Allegiance, having this lead, having basement still. They're working on Nest, starting to get a few kills. Railgun is up, nobody grabbing that quite yet. Pistola might actually get taken out, going for it. That's some perfect shots there. Some help coming in from Straightsick. Sure enough, Allegiance doing an amazing job here in game number 1, locking down the rig.
Yeah, this is looking like a possible setup for Allegiance. Only probably 2 or 3 more pushes for Envy. They have to be smart pushes too. Where are they going to go? They do get a pick on a Falcated, however, it does get traded, so it's a 3-on-3 situation. Devin down to no shields. Here's the numbers advantage for Envy. This is probably going to be their best possible time to come back here and try to get control, but no, 2 kills go right on back over to Allegiance. That's going to be Contra and Straightsick. Mikwin gets one, Snipedown gets one, but it is just 2-on-2 situation. Straightsick's coming up big here at the end of this game.
Ooh, and he looks like he got some hit markers there. They should be able to take out this player in Nest. In fact, they do, yeah. And he has some players still coming off here over towards Bunker. BR base is still in favor of Envy, but that was Predeminator here, I think, with the camo.
This is it right here. This is probably the final push coming in. And Devin picks up a double kill. Snipedown's going to drop that railgun over here, which means when he comes off spawn, this game's going to be very close to ending. He's going to have to desperate over towards the strongholds, but which stronghold is going to be the priority? If 1 or 2 more kills come in, that's 2 kills. It's a 2-on-2 situation. Only 5 more points, and Allegiance is going to win this game.
If they don't get this hill right now and overloaded, this game is going to be over. You have that railgun in hill. He doesn't get in time, and that is going to do it as Allegiance comes out, steals game 1 here from Envy, something Optic wasn't even able to do yesterday.
Again, it comes down to how much is on the line here. The pressure is on Allegiance to perform, and they ended up stepping it up and winning that game. And I'm sure they looked at all the scenarios that Chad told them. Every game that they win helps towards their map win percentage. If they win this series, that's even bigger for them, and they can try to have a miraculous ending to their season, which everyone expected these guys to be in the relegation. Still a lot more games to be played. 1 game is a start, though, against this Envy team, who seems to be, again, just kind of waking up here. They're going to have to slap some water on their face and get it going, though, because Slayer Plaza is up next.
Yeah, Falcated is not going to be taking it easy on these guys, as he just put up some awesome stats. Having that many captures with that many slays is something that is not easy to do, and he was definitely the driving force here for Allegiance in this game number 1 to take down Envy. And like we said, Envy is locked in that number 1 seed, so if they lose this, it isn't going to be the biggest deal for them. However, Allegiance, so much on the line for these guys, so it is interesting to see if that is why Allegiance is stepping up right now, is because their backs are against the wall.
Definitely, and they're playing at a very high level. They always have played at a pretty high level this entire season. They just struggle closing series out. So don't be surprised if even Envy goes down to 2-0 if we end up going to another Game 5. That's just kind of been how Allegiance series, or Allegiance's season has been. So I'm not calling this one until it's necessarily over. We saw 3-0 yesterday. Envy is playing very well. I'm just wondering if they didn't warm up that much, or, you know, if they went out and celebrated last night, or what's going on, because to me, they're just a little bit sluggish.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could be a little bit sluggish. Falcated, I think, is contributing to that a little bit. You know, having a player on your team with that much objective and that many slays is, like I said, one of those driving forces to defeating a team. Yeah. Something you just don't see that a whole lot. Maybe like Spartan does that a lot, but you don't have players that play that aggressive, that put up those kind of stats that often.
Well, I look at Mikwin just kind of flying off the map, though, and seeing that play, and he missed the clamor, and it was just a little bit of a mechanical error, and it happens. It's something that it's just a split hair off, a split second off. The timing right now for Envy just isn't there. Again, they're going to have to kind of get it going. A lot of it is because of the pressure that Falcated, the rest of this Allegiance squad, is putting on them, so you can't take anything away from Allegiance, but let's just call it how it is. I mean, Envy, they're not running at all cylinders quite yet. So once they start running at all cylinders, we're going to really start to see what Allegiance is going to be made of.
Yeah, but they're putting themselves in a pretty good position right now, taking that game number 1, like we said before the series got started. Game number 2, this Slayer Plaza here, can be more one of those toss-ups. Envious said it themselves, generally stronger at objective game types here. This is a really good opportunity to have a comfortable lead going into a capture the flag game type for a game number 3 with that lead on Envy.
Yeah, and again, we said Allegiance is very good at strongholds, so we can't take that, again, away from them. They're very good at that game type, and they have another game type coming in. Eden Strongholds is number 4 here, game type number 4. So look out if you're Envy, because these guys have a lot to play for over here, and they really want this one. Avoiding relegations, it's arguably more important than making it into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough spot to be in, and nobody wants to lose their spot in Pro League, as you see some of these amateur teams competing in the open circuit, and that is no easy task. There's a lot of good people over there, and you don't even see the same people winning every single time because of that level of talent.
Definitely. So here goes the start. Falcated picks up that overshield. They also have a kill on the Allegiance side, and I'm wondering if the beginning strategies from the blue side are something that's a little bit of a weak spot for Envy, because I'm used to seeing them play red side, and they didn't seem to have the best beginning strategy in Rig Strongholds. And now, again, letting Falcated get this overshield and build a couple of kills here. Yeah, it's still the beginning of the game, but Falcated just getting free reign on these guys, and you don't want to see a guy go off 2 games in a row. And if someone goes off in the first game, you have to immediately find him to start this one off and shut him down, because he's just going to immediately feel comfortable and continue to do what he does.
Yeah, I mean, that overshield was a big factor here on this early 7-2 lead, as Falcated's gotten several different kills. We'll take a look. He's 4-0 right now. He got 4 assists coming out of Contra as well. So already more assists than kills here for these squads. Another one coming in there, and that's going to be Predevinator here with a sniper. So as much as I want to stay on board here with with Falcated, Predevinator, we'll see what he's up to with this weapon.
Devin rotating on over to the cafe, now sitting into the sneaky, looking for a pick. Not finding the first shot, but finds the second onto Pistola. 11-4 here. And now Devin, he can do whatever he wants with this snipe. Now it looks like he's going to rotate over here and try to find the players that are making their loop and glass rotation. Nice pinch coming in, snipe down, not expecting it. However, Ola is in the yard behind him. Devin's going to have to contest that, but Pistola doesn't miss any shots there and picks up that sniper with still a decent amount of ammo. 3 there, as you can see, 1 up top, so 3 shots overall after picking up that kill onto Contra. And this is what you're going to need now if you're Envy to get back into this game. Finally finding a weapon here. Overshield coming up here in the next 15 seconds. Let's see if they can finally get some control.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good job by Pistola taking out that player, collapsing onto yard here. This next overshield is going to be a big testament of what happens in the next minute, as this lead has been shrunken a lot. It's down to just 4 kills as Allegiance answers back with a couple of their own. And now Pistola gets taken out, and that's Falcated once again, grabbing that new overshield, but immediately gets it all drained here by that plasma pistol shot.
It's a good plasma pistol shot, worth your death for sure if you, whoever that was down over there. But Falcated has had a phenomenal first game, putting together a very solid second game as well. Yeah, the lead has dwindled a little bit, but any time that you can even be going even with Envy and giving your team an opportunity to win this game even towards the end is what you need to be going for here. They are the #1 team for a reason. They can turn it on at any given point in time, so you have to have these good starts to try to keep it close.
Oh, and then Falcated is pushing up. You got 2 players over here at Loop. They're getting collapsed on. Not going to be long for this world, as Concha is also pushing out from Light Rifle, has Hook Trap, no shields over by Posters. Is waiting for some help from his teammates. Finally, that help is coming in from Predevinator over on blue side of the map, who also gets taken out. So map control is essentially being flipped now as Snipe Down misses the thrust into Hotel and goes bottom center, so he's going to die as well. 9-kill lead, so Allegiance has been able to grow this one back to a healthy margin, and they're still playing so aggressive, immediately collapsing here on Envy spawns again.
It's impressive to see how aggressive they're playing. Contra coming in, flying in through the window with the SMG, ripping shields. A minute for the overshield here, and a scary moment for Envy, because they've let 2 overshields go on over to Falcated, and they have the timing on that. So I'm not familiar or sure if right now Envy is even aware of within a 5-second span that overshield's going to be popping up, which means that if you are Allegiance, that's going to create an opportunity when Envy's just kind of waltzing around top center or just standing there waiting for it to come up so they can eventually get a time and pick it up as they come up on the last overshield of the game.
Yeah, and this overshield is going to be really important once again. And, you know, taking a look at this Allegiance squad and how well they're playing right now, it's tough to see that sometimes. It reminds me a lot of Team Liquid here in the summer season, a team that really turned it around towards the end, but it was just a little bit too little too late, as they've had such a big deficit in order to try to qualify for playoffs. But it's a team that clearly has the skill and ability to beat, you know, even the #1 team here.
Yeah, this is important for them on a handful of different levels because of the fact that if they win this series, that helps out their chances. But even if they make this series close, which it already is, that gives them confidence if they do end up going into the relegations area. And they can continue to just scrim and use this series as just a stepping stone or a little bit of a learning curve. But it looks like Mickwin finally getting the sniper rifle over here towards the nest area. And it seems like the rest of his teammates are pretty spread out. We'd like to see maybe one other guy watching this glass and poster area, but they're getting very aggressive on this blue side and flower side of the map, and possibly looking for a pinch over here towards the yard to filter everybody out into Mickwin sniper angles.
Yeah, I mean, and this game is still far from over. We've seen much bigger deficits been overcome here, even some ones that ended up with a loss anyway, but one that sticks out in my mind is the Optic Gaming versus Evil Geniuses, where they were down like, 24 to like 6 or something ridiculous, and then still able to kind of close that and make it an interesting game. So only a 6-kill lead here. Envy probably not too worried. They know they've still got over 6.5 minutes left to play in this game.
Ooh.
They can cut this lead down.
Mickwin has infinite splinter grenades apparently and tosses a couple on over. Gets that nice kill onto Devin. Another kill goes on over to Hook. Make that another one over for Pistola onto Felcated. So that means 3 players died for 0 players on the Envy side. So nice job bringing this deficit again a little bit closer. But either way, Allegiance, they got to feel good about this. You just want to continue to hang in there. You have the time for the overshield. Wait for it. Just try to find where Mickwin's going to go. So maybe try to get over a guy towards the glass as a scout, find out where Mickwin's going to go, and just plan on going away from him or laying down some crossfire. But Mickwin doing a nice job playing very sneaky, trying to get the angle onto Felcated. Hits him with the last shot. Keep in mind, Felcated picked up the last couple of overshields. There's a triple kill coming for Mickwin. Oh man, doesn't realize so many players over there in that yard area. Possible kill tag if he wanted it.
Yeah, that would have been sick if he had immediately zoomed in there and ripped another face. Made that an overkill as Envy now takes the lead after we saw Allegiance off to such a great start in this one. Now that overshield had come up, it looked like Falcated was able to burn it. Almost a 2v1 coming in. He didn't even snipe the guy in front of him. He sniped somebody behind him.
Yeah, but it looks like that's what you wanted to have happen for Allegiance. He traded a couple kills. Nice quick scope for Snipedown to save his life and also take that player down to no shields and create an opportunity for one of his teammates. But you can see his teammates not in position. Everybody spawning over there towards the back wall. That probably should have been a kill. Player looked like he was a little bit weak, and then that was very close to a headshot. So Snipedown probably looking to get another headshot here after that one was a little bit frustrating. So where he's going to set up is the question. You have Contra with the sniper over towards glass. You have Snipedown with the sniper over towards hotel. Possibly meeting up if Snipedown goes up to this angle, which he does.
And we'll keep jumping back and forth depending on who we think's going to hit some headshots here. Snipedown clearly with a whole lot more ammo than Contra's got. But Contra is the one to first take another headshot here.
It is. He's only got one more bullet. Looking for a player on his radar that's made his way over towards the glass. That's going to be Mickwin. Misses that no-scope onto Ola, so he switches on over to his battle rifle. Even gets the trade there onto Mickwin when Mickwin had the SMG and a little bit of an advantage. So if Mickwin wanted to, he probably could have backed off and just shredded him with the SMG and not even went for the trade of the melee, but Mickwin probably didn't realize that Contra was going to even get the trade there. So here we have Snipedown with the sniper rifle trying to put in some work. That's going to give a 3-kill lead on over to Envy, looking for more as he does get the kill onto Contra in the yard. Didn't even have to challenge that because he had support, but feeling confident nonetheless. And it looks like Envy finally waking up here, 42 to 38. Got to be worried now if you're Allegiance because you've done a nice job of keeping this so close up to the very end of the game, and now that's when Envy starts to pull away.
Ooh, and they really need to kill Snipedown here. You got Mickwin also charging over towards Snipe Tower, who gets a kill on Predevinator. Falcated with some perfect shots there back, but killing Frenzy coming out of Snipedown. Take a quick look at the stats after this yard battle happens, see where he's sitting at. Good position setting up as 2 players, no shields in yard. You can see the collapse happening over by blue side. Snipedown with this big lead decides just to back down. He only has 2 shots left here in this weapon. Makes one of them count there, 48-42. Look at these stats.
He's always doing such a good job of finding a headshot. Like, you can see just at the very end and then again onto straight sig, just lining it up perfectly. What looks like to be a body shot at the very end, he just whips it right on up there and gets the headshot. And look at that, 17 and 6, like you said. I believe that was a 12 or 13 spree to end it. And just imagine if he got shot down on that spree, you're looking at, you know, a possible even stat line and a much closer game. So you got to give credit on over to Snipedown for really picking it up down there towards the middle and end of the game.
And that's one of the things that makes Envyus such a dangerous team is you had Snipedown with over a killing frenzy, Mickwin with a +5 stat with 8 assists, and then just an example, what Pistola did all season long, going and putting up these monstrous numbers, even having that was it a rampage up, you know, over 15 kills in a row against that Enigma 6 squad in a game number 5. So just some insane things, and every one of these guys can take turns stepping it up, going on one of these sprees and securing these victories no matter how much they find themselves down in a particular game or just a series overall.
Right now it's up to Allegiance to respond, and they have to win this CTF Truth game, in my opinion, if they want to stand a chance. Yeah, Strongholds, again, that's their jam. They're feeling very confident on that, but Slayer Coliseum, I feel like if it goes to Game 5, we've already seen so many losses from Legions in Game 5. Yeah, they won their big one yesterday. Can they do it again? I don't know. It's a different caliber of team, and we started to see Snipedown really warm up there. And if anyone else catches fire, say it's going to be Ola or Hook gets it going, got to be scared for Allegiance, because, I don't know, Allegiance, while they are playing well, they really made a mistake of letting Snipedown find the weapon that makes him most comfortable. And a lot of the big game-changing moments in that previous match on Slayer Plaza, I feel like was with Mickwin too. Mickwin over there in the hotel getting that last shot onto Falcated, who picked up a handful of overshields in a row. So that's one of the players that starts to put out the fire for Falcated and then starts to catch heat himself. And that's kind of how you shift the momentum of a series.
Yeah, I mean, and if Allegiance was able to coordinate their middle game pushes a little bit better. When you had that big lead, you saw 2 players going over towards Flowers and Blue, 2 players pushing over towards Loop, and each sets of those players losing the individual fights to Team Envyus and allowing them to start cutting down that gap. And of course, when those overshields were coming up, they did make pretty good pushes, even got a couple of them burnt, but it was just not enough as they gave up too many free deaths in between the overshields spawning.
Yeah, and it just happened, you know, so quickly for Envy. They just turned it on to that next level and picked up so many kills at the very end of the game. And what was it, 50-42? That to me looked like a 50-45 or 50-48 the entire time, the way that Allegiance was playing that one. So again, this is where you kind of awoken the beast. They started to realize, hey guys, let's take it up a notch. Let's pick it up a notch. Maybe Snipedown said some words, or somebody said some motivating words, alumni saying, come on guys, let's make a point here. Let's prove a point. Let's end the season strong.
Right, and now, of course, we are getting ready to go into game number 3. So do you have any kind of predictions or anything here, Tom? Do you think
3-1 for Envy is my prediction?
Okay, so that first one, you know, of course, they've tied series 1-1. That game number 2, like I said, I thought was going to be kind of a toss-up. It pretty much was. Snipedown really being the X factor there, obviously, having just so many kills and going on that frenzy. So
yeah,
it's a tough call, but, you know, you can't go with anyone other than Envy here just based on everything.
Well, I feel like if Envy wins this game, which I think that they're going to do 3-1, then they're going to win the series 3-1 as well. But if Allegiance wins this game, it could push to a Game 5, and then anything could necessarily happen. Yeah, Envy, they're still the favorite here, even if it does go to Game 5, but you have to at least give yourself a chance here. And then if Allegiance does drop this game, the beginning of Strongholds on Eden is going to be extremely important, making sure that you're not giving Envy the overshield camo, the rockets, things like that. So we'll find out. A lot riding on this game here for Allegiance, a lot riding on this beginning opening strat as well.
Right, and we're going to start off from Pistola's point of view. So I want to see what the Wizards able to do here on this CTF Truth game type. You got 2 players from Envy immediately pushing out towards pink. It looks like that is going to be Mickwin immediately charging up to P3, trying to contest straight sick in P2. It actually wins that battle. So it's going to be P control, 2 kills going over with camo in favor of Envy. Snipedown with a sword kill here, so great opening strategy for Envyus.
Yeah, the reason that I was so impressed with Allegiance, you know, all the entire time throughout Game 1 and then for majority of Game number 2 was because they didn't allow Envy to find their footing at all. And now you can see that Envy started to get a little bit more comfortable and starting to slay a little bit harder. So you got to be worried here. That's the first cap goes right on over to Envy about 45 seconds into this game. And if the Camo Fuel Rod player stayed alive even longer, we're looking at a possible second flag being ran right now. But at least getting the priority kill that they needed to so they can try to regain this map control after that abysmal start.
And Snipedown running around with the sword, doing a big impact player here with this. Throws that splinter, gets some damage down. Top center control still over in favor of Envy. Now Pistola looking to take Snipedown's spot here in P2, but sword is down and there's 2 players contesting. Pistola not taking any damage from those frag nades. Should be able to push up here, gets the 1v1 win over Pistola as Mickwin grabs a double car side of the map. And now you're looking at Straight Stick, first one off spawn here in the base, does pick up a big kill. Everyone else coming up off spawn over towards Carbine side of the map. So Envyus sitting in pretty good position, regaining control of Allegiance's base and looking to start this second flag run.
And they're swarming in together, which is how you should do it. And that was a big kill for Straight Stick, though, just to kind of stop the push. You also do have a counter pull coming in, but look at Pistola just dropping down, slicing him up, and also running the flag over here. But Falcon does get a kill on the Mick when you do have another player that's made his way over towards P2. So it's going to be an interesting 2v2 on the pink side of the map as Pistola looking for the return. It's only a tick away, ends up living. Mickwin gets the kill onto Falcated. That flag is very close to being returned. Ola just playing the situation and the radar. Nice job by him. There goes the return coming in from Snipedown around the corner, and a perfectly ground-pounded flag, even though the grenade from Devin was very nicely placed. Looks like from across the map, or maybe
top center there. I was looking for Zex. Yeah, it looks like he was top center, so it was a perfect splinter nade thrown by him, but of course, not going to be able to stop the capture from happening. It does allow Straight Stick now to grab the new camo, 9:35, so Envy is not going to have a time on this one here. Straight Stick is collapsing in on the base. Good thing, splinter nade is up. It's going to create a good opportunity here. May get some damage. No, not actually. He will get it as Pistola lifts back up on top of the base. He knows there's several people below it. Everyone else is coming off spawn here on Car's side. Allegiance should be able to recognize this and quickly move the flag.
Yeah, and Straight Stick electing to bring this one P1 as Devin picking up a slate onto Hook. Mickwin, last guy alive, trying to play some offense over here to get that pull, but doesn't happen. Straight Stick's gonna pawn that one in. Still had some camo left, I believe, but dies for the cause. Getting that objective done, and Contra trying to get some objective done too. That's going to be 2 kills going on over to Allegiance. Last 2 players alive, top car and top center for Envy. So Contra's going to slow play this one, bait the flag, toss it out. Straight Stick has the fuel rod. Here comes everybody for Envy trying to clear the player out of their base. Contra, if he could have just crouched around the corner a little bit longer and saved that splinter grenade, that would have been fantastic. So now that flag just going to be sitting bottom center, and Envy's going to use that to push up, get some slays, and just wait for these guys on Allegiance to make that mistake of dropping for it.
Ooh, but look, one player is dead. Okay, Snipedown making a really good play. Takes out Contra top center. They're probably going to start over-committing for this flag, and they got to be really careful. 2 caps already in favor of Envy. They cannot give up a counter capture trying to put that one in. However, it is going to get returned here for Devonator trying to contest Snipedown up towards top pink, but it's not going to work out in their favor as the teamwork from Envy is there, and they're just double-teaming everyone.
Snipedown making this look too easy, playing the bait and switch game, P3 to P2. Now Pistola using that fuel rod to lock down the Carbine side of the map. So you got Mickwin locking down P2, you got Ola locking down top center and Carbine, running multiple fuel rods. Camo coming up here soon too, so if Ola's able to stay alive, which he doesn't, he's at least able to bring that fuel rod more towards P1. If the player is able to get the camo on his team, then that's going to be a free fuel rod and a camo. So here it goes. There's the play. Hook's gonna grab that one. Straight Stick trying to charge after him, but Hook lives. Now, if he can get that fuel rod, you gotta be scared if you're Allegiance. There it is. Hook's gonna find it. Gets called out from Pistola. Flag's being pulled here too. 2 players located in P2. Hook's gonna find one of them. Now he's backing off, playing some defense, making sure no one's coming in to get the pull. As you can see, Devin's trying to be the guy to go for this one. Hook is not having it though. Nice Carbine shots, picks up the double kill, and that's gonna be the flag going in and game to Envy. Hey, 3-1.
You did predict it there, Tom, and taking a look at these stats here, Snipedown once again doing a lot of the objective work here for this squad. On the other hand, you got the duo Pistola Mickwin heavy on the slays, so obviously taking a look here, it was Envy's game, heavily outslaying Team Allegiance, also having 2 flag returns to 0 flag returns from Team Allegiance. Now, Allegiance did put up a good run. Thought it was going to be tied 2-2 for a moment, but a little bit too little, too late. Say that a lot here, and Pistola, especially some of those sword plays, were a big impact here, as this team did put up a lot.
Yeah, people taking their turns going big on the side of Envy, and again, that's what makes them so deadly. The only small misplay, which wasn't even a misplay, it was just unfortunate timing for Contra and well execution for Envy. They sent 2 players back to their base to clear Contra out as he tossed that flag out bottom center. And Contra, if he was just crouching over down towards the cubby, could have eventually thrown a splinter grenade and maybe got both of the kills. But Envy shuts that down and they get in commanding series lead here, 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, and this was the position that Allegiance really wanted to find themselves in, and what it was looking to happen so well midway through that game number 2, having a 10+ kill lead over Envy, already taking game number 1 here. So now Envy is obviously answering back. They've woken up here. They take game number 1, game 2 even more convincing, or excuse me, game number 3 even more convincingly, and then game number 4 is going to be that Eden Strongholds. And we've seen what Envy's able to do here on this map, especially taking into consideration the matchup with Evil Geniuses on the replay, where they literally beat them like 100-7.
Yeah, but Allegiance won the first Strongholds game, which was on the rig, so you gotta watch out for Envy because these guys are going to continue to fight. But Allegiance, they got to be a little bit scared because, again, Envy started to wake up. They started to get it going here, and they're looking to close this one out, which is the thing that Allegiance hasn't been able to do. So they're trying to push this one to a game number 5, which would be Coliseum Slayer. And anything could happen. Maybe, you know, straight sick Falcated, someone goes big contra Devin. Plenty of weapons on Coliseum Slayer, but again, you have fantastic Slayers on the side of Envy. Just as good, obviously a little bit better than Allegiance. That's why they're sitting in the number 1 seed.
Yeah, and then I think the last time that we saw Envy play on Coliseum was Pistola's running riot on that Slayer. So obviously that's a scary moment to think going into a game number 5 that somebody on this team can put up easy rampage or running riots, excuse me, on a different team and just completely take over.
I think the game ended though when he was still on his rampage. So
could have kept going.
It could have kept going. Who knows? But here it is, Strongholds on Eden. It's going to be blue side coming out for Envy still, red side for Allegiance. What's going to be the strategy here? Who's going to be able to secure this overshield on the red side, as you do have a little bit of a positional advantage. Here goes the charge, and Hook's able to grab that one. Not a big fan of the way these guys went all the way around and allowed these guys to get the overshield on Envy. We have a tweet coming in, 30-minute break at work, best way to spend it, watching Halo. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I mean, and might be able to get this rest of the series finished out too as the games start picking up a little bit. We'll see what happens. 30 seconds into the game, Nest is yet to be taken by either team, but I do like what we have from Envyus here, focusing on this top, or excuse me, from Allegiance here, focusing on this top catwalk. Now they're pushing over to try and contest Nest. Contra just sitting back. He can get some good damage down here from this location. Got a camo player right in front of him. Needs to win this one. Not going to be able to do so. And that is Pistola here, just being the wizard that he is. And that is ultimately going to turn Catwalk over here to Envy's favor, who should be able to start putting some points on the board.
This is not the start you wanted to have for Allegiance. You have to get the first points on the board, because now you're going to allow Envy with this 2-1 series lead to just set up and do what they do best. And that's rack up points and just keep you on the respawn. And
keep in mind, the opening strategy here, Tom, was Pistola grabbing camo and Hook grabbing overshield, so clearly Envy coming out ahead there.
Not even sure what happened to the Rockets, but I didn't see anybody on the side of Allegiance grabbing those either. So slow strategy here. They're lucky they're not being punished even harder, but it looks like there goes the triple cap coming in eventually for Mikwin if he wants it. No, nades coming in. Nice job by Allegiance getting him out of there, because it's already 13 points and counting. A triple cap would just rack up so many points so fast.
And it's coming back in, Tom, here as Ness is about to be taken. Pistola jumping up, waits for some help first. 3 players over here towards Catwalk. He gets the reset. Falcated not able to stay in the hill and gets taken out. So this triple cap and time is just being racked up really quickly. And you said it, Tom, this is not the position you want to find yourself in. To beat Team Envyus, to beat Optic Gaming, you need to come out strong and maintain the same momentum. If you give them any wiggle room, they will come back and punish you.
It's a lot easier said than done. Very difficult, but it's possible. And we've seen teams do it before, but this is ugly. 37 points, triple cap on the board. Rockets in the hands, camo and overshield coming up any second here.
Overshield already went back over to Envy here.
Yeah, so that's just scary. I mean, you have to try to do something to regain control, but what do? You stop the bleeding by getting this blue bend. That's a start. You're gonna have to get the weapons out of these guys' hands though somehow.
Devonator doing a really good job. Should have died. Dodges some shots, backs down a player, sniped down, ultimately finishes that one off. But yeah, Devonair still not being able to do enough as we're already looking at another triple cap. Still has rockets. Lots of players flying in from red, top center, everywhere really. And this one is just running away from Team Allegiance. They might not be long for this world here now.
Nope, but that's the start. Getting catwalk over here and a dud grenade coming in and a bad rocket from Ola. So that's the mistake that they needed. And then they punish him by getting the kill too. So small misplay coming in from Ola. Now, where's the focus going to be? Looks like it's going to be a capture over towards the blue bend, which is where they got the kill. They find another one on to Hook and snipe down. So Ola's going to be off the spawn, and there's the first points coming over. Blue bend and catwalk being held right now by Allegiance.
Yeah, how long are they going to be able to hang on to this one as it took them, almost or 3.5 minutes and a 67-point lead before they're finally able to get on the board here. This is going to be a tough one. Now that's a good way to start it out as Falcated wins the 1v1 against Hook. He's going to be battling Pistola here in a moment. You got Pistol versus BR. See who comes out. Pistola going for the challenge.
Yeah, the problem is good job Falcated, but you're going to have to win 5 more of those in order to get back into this game. And some of them are going to be against different players, and others are going to have even better weapons than just Hook having the pistol there. So that's where you see Pistola with the battle rifle, Mikwin with the battle rifle. Weapons dropping here. Rocket launcher will be coming up shortly after that. It's going to be camo and overshield. So this is a really good opportunity for Envy to try to do something here. Mikwin electing to stay up on top of the map and throws 2 grenades that eventually could have went over towards that red nest side. Doesn't seem like they have communication on who wants to go for the overshield. Ola's going to drop for that one, but Mikwin kind of in no man's land over here. I feel like he should be going for the camo or at least contesting for the overshield.
Yeah, it looks like they just trade Ben though, so kind of working out so far. You did have that overshield do go over in the hands of Conjure. What a stick coming in from Straight Stick.
Straight Stick.
Straight Stick, and now Snipe down here with the Rockets is pushing over. Notice this player towards Turbine. Catwalk's being taken. He misses the jump. A little bit of a crucial mistake. Allegiance has to be happy about that one. It's all going to come down to this flank. He's got 3 rockets left. It could easily be 3+ kills.
Snipe down specialty going for the flank over here. Shooting some long-range rockets, not going to connect on the Straight Stick, and Straight Stick immediately pushing the advantage. If Hook didn't come in with the help, that would have been a nice play coming in from Straight Stick. Either way, it was a nice play coming in from him. Contra gets the cleanup over there. Triple cap coming in for Allegiance, and they're going to get back into this one if they can continue to hold this triple cap, but it has to be at least 2 or 3 spawn cycles. That death is going to be very important. We do have a tweet coming in at ESL Halo. If you ever needed a reason to show how good the Pro League is, this matchup proves that anyone can beat anyone. And that is true, but this is looking very grim here for the Allegiance team. They're going to have to almost play perfect Halo here in this game and the next game if they want to win. They didn't do themselves any favor by giving a huge lead on over to Envy to start this one.
Yeah, 67-point lead to start it out, and they're doing a good job getting it back, but it's Envy that they're going up against here, and being able to hold that with them already sitting at 85 points now is going to be a big mountain to overcome here. And whether or not they're going to be able to do it, we'll find out here shortly. But like we said, if it was maybe somebody else they were going up against and somebody that we don't know is already extremely good here on this map, then maybe. But yeah, if some of these battles, the way they've been going so far, it's just like that one, it's not looking good here.
I want to see the stats when we get an opportunity here, Kyle. There's going to be a battle, so we'll wait there. But Mikwin gets the beat down and snipe down. 17 bombs so far. Another nice game from him.
Yeah, and 6 captures coming out of Hook. You can see they said they're better at the objective game types, and even though they had a good game 2 showing, they are coming out strong once again. And basically, a lot of this has come down to that power-up control, especially number of overshields that have just gone over in favor. I think it's at least 3 or 4 to 1.
That's going to be game. It looked like a nice effort there from Allegiance, and it was at the end to capture Blue Bend, but you did have overshield over there for Envy, so they just retook that Blue Bend back. Devin and Falcade a little bit slow there, only 5 and 6 kills respectively, but that's Envy just turning it on there midway through game number 2 and just not letting up. A lot of it having to do with snipe downs, killing friends. You had Mikwin with a phenomenal game 2 as well to get these guys back into it and just showing what they're made of. Obviously the #1 seed for a reason, but nice job from Allegiance at least taking 1 game. That's going to help their map win percentage just a little bit, but not sure if it matters. I think they needed to win this series.
Yeah, they had to win this series here. So Allegiance pretty much going to be the very first team here locked into relegation. Now, later on tonight, we will find out if Enigma 6 or Evil Geniuses will be joining them. But we did have just now Envyus taking the match number 1 series in a 3-1 fashion. While we were looking at that 1-game win here for Allegiance, the rest of the games just not going in their favor, not particularly close either. Besides Allegiance having that big Game 2 lead, Envy was just too strong.
Definitely. And, it's interesting to see how Allegiance played that and kept it close throughout Game 2. If they could have won that game, it could have been a much different series for them and possibly a different outcome. But it was a strong last week performance from these guys. And again, since they made it a little bit closer than we were expecting, that's a good sign for them going into the actual relegation.
Yeah, we do have our winner view here with a member of Team Envyus. That's going to be Snipedown. Snipedown, how does it feel ending the season with the number 1 seed? Of course, we could ask you that yesterday, but how does it feel being number 1 here in Pro League?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels good. Like Ola said yesterday, we still have our eye on the prize, which is the season finals. First in Pro League is one thing, but we want to take home the grand prize, which is when we get to all meet up and finally play on LAN, which is, where it's all laid out on the table. So feels great to end with the 1 seed. It always feels good to, feel like you're, a top and the best in the game or whatever it is. But feeling solid and just going to keep up the hard work.
So Ola was saying, or I believe one of you guys were saying, that after your loss at Orange County that you guys had to work on closing out games and finishing out games in series. Now, after your 7 weeks here, moving now, you have a nice little break. What are you guys going to work on? What do you guys feel like your weaknesses are?
Right now, I mean, I would still say our weaknesses are the same thing. Not closing out games, the way we want to. I think when we start getting ahead, we may let that get to us a little bit, start making some plays that we don't need to make. But I think we've been a lot more disciplined, and that's honestly our biggest difference from last tournament to this tournament, or up until where we are now, is our discipline, our ability to take a situation and not try and just win every game as fast as humanly possible. We want to win it as efficiently as possible, and if that takes longer, but we have a higher percentage to do that, then we're going to do that. And you've seen that with some of the games, like against Optic yesterday. It was a really drawn out long game. It wasn't just 3-cap. It was for strongholds. It was just kind of holding setups and stopping them from breaking our setups, and that's the kind of gameplay that we've kind of grown accustomed to.
Okay, and now Snipedown, you obviously just locked in Allegiance here for relegation at the finals. Now, there's still a lot on the line here for these other teams. Of course, you guys in Optic, Liquid locked in. Who do you see joining Allegiance in relegation, and who do you see making it to playoffs?
Right now, I think EG's really doing whatever they can to not go to relegation. I think E6 has a tough match tonight, and unless they win, they're going to relegation. And Straight Rippin's really hot right now, so I'm sure they're gonna do whatever they can to try and get their spot, that 4th spot in the league. I'm super happy that we were first this week. I think we've only been first like once more because we just get to kick back and watch the rest of this craziness unfold. So I'm definitely thinking that it's gonna be E6 in relegation, and Straight Rippin's gonna end up with that 4th spot unless Luminosity really clutches up tonight and takes Optic in the series.
All right. Now, any shout-outs that you want to give, Eric, before we send you off?
Yeah, just shout out to the boys in blue, the rest of the guys on the squad, and HCS and everyone for hosting this Pro League for us, and of course this guy right next to me for coming out here all the time playing these important Pro League matches.
All right, Eric, thanks so much, and obviously congratulations on a phenomenal season and getting that number 1 seed.
Thank you very much, guys. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.
All right, and there you have it. Allegiance, number 1 team to first join, or the first team to join
Allegiance, number 1 team.
Number 1 relegation team. Okay, being an 8th seed now, so they're really the number 2 relegation team. But either way, nice to always hear from Snipedown. Shout out Pistola hiding around in the background. But we want to hear not only from them, we want to hear from you at home. So make sure you do tweet at us using the hashtag HCS. You've already seen a couple tweets here featured on the show, and we want to hear from you more at home. Now, of course, we do have more matches here coming up, and everything essentially being determined today. So make sure you stay tuned, and we're going to take a short break and be back here in just about 5 minutes.